Ukraine's crisis from realist and liberalist perspectives. Introduction. Conflicts between countries happen for various reasons but affect numerous people. On February 24, 2022, Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine, beginning Europe's most extensive military operation since 1945. Putin's war forces the deaths and sufferings of countless people and endangers the stabilization of the post-Soviet region with considerable consequences for several countries. As the current Ukraine crisis concerns international politics, liberalism and realism can provide theoretical explanations for its causes. Realist and liberalist explanations of the causes of the Ukrainian crisis. Realism and liberalism present distinct perspectives on diverse occurrences around the globe. The former assumes that international affairs reflect a struggle for authority among self-interested states, whereas the latter regards the legitimacy and reliability of elected governments. Realists expect the most powerful states to abuse their strengths to expand domination but suggest that the theory's pragmatism can lead to a more peaceful world. In contrast, liberals believe in trade and finance connections between nations guiding the spread of democratic norms, increasing the accountability of elected leaders, and lowering the probability of attacks. While realism values military force and state diplomacy, liberalism prioritizes international organizations and trade. The two theories differently view peace and the practices required to achieve it. To comprehend the logic of realism, one should analyze the works of its theorists. Although many people have contributed to the development of realism, Hans Morgenthau and Kenneth Waltz are considered its founders. Morgenthau presents a theory of international politics with 6 principles of realism, such as the significance of objective laws and thinking in terms of interest defined as power. According to Morgenthau, the laws of politics emanate from human nature and have not changed for years. Therefore, states intrinsically desire power and seek opportunities to dominate other states. On the other hand, Mearsheilller indicates that Waltz understands states' desire for authority as a result of the structure of the international system and the need to improve chances for survival. States pursue security, and power serves as a means to endure and outlive others in Waltz's theory. While the early realists' perceptions of the necessity to obtain dominion differ, they imply that conflicts are inevitable to achieve one's goals and prosper. Furthermore, works on liberalism can assist in exploring the theory. Liberals have a more optimistic view of international politics and share some common beliefs. For instance, Doyle proposes that liberal states are peaceful yet prone to make war and have reasons for aggression. Doyle discusses the specifics of liberal internationalism, imperialism, and pacifism. For example, liberalism can be uniting, and most liberal states share such features as individual freedom, private property, and political involvement. Moreover, people strive to rule rather than be dominated, have diverse goals, and are rationalized and individualized. Owen argues that liberalism plays a pivotal role in a liberal democracy characterized by regular competitive elections of those in power. Despite having different backgrounds, all people are interested in self-preservation and material soundness. For liberals, freedom and tolerance serve as means to peace and prosperity, as citizens influence state decisions. While each perception of liberalism has distinctions, the theory is expressed by prioritizing individuality, sovereignty, and trust between those with similar values. It is important to analyze factors that led to the Ukraine crisis to understand how liberalism and realism can explain the causes. Kirby and Geyer propose that the reasons behind Putin's invasion are traced back to the fall of the Soviet Union. Until the early 1990s, Ukraine was one of the Soviet republics and had a large atomic arsenal, which presented interest for Russia. After the break of the Union, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, expanded eastward and suggested the possibility of one day accepting Ukraine, which was seeking reinforcement after obtaining independence. However, Russia did not favor such a possibility and became wary of NATO approaching its borders. Therefore, one way to explore the crisis's causes is by viewing Ukraine from the mindset of liberalism and Russia from the perspective of realism. As discussed above, realism regards the pursuit of power and war as a result of human nature and the desire to survive. Morgenthau claims that analysis of a foreign policy should not focus on the motive of statement because motives are elusive. Consequently, despite many people believing that Putin wishes to return Ukraine to Russia's control, one should not consider this motive to be a valid cause within the theory. Instead, Waltz's thought of states aiming to survive seems more relevant, as Putin stated that Ukraine joining NATO threatens Russia and demands NATO to stop its eastward expansion. The West disregarded Putin's demands, and he decided to find reasons to invade Ukraine and prevent it from entering NATO. However, Morgenthau suggests that a good foreign policy is rational in minimizing risks and maximizing benefits, implying the failure of Putin's invasion. Drezner states that the Ukraine crisis makes Russia weaker and is not likely to be advantageous for Putin. Overall, realism indicates that Putin's main cause was to defend Russia's borders. On the other hand, Ukraine's position can be associated with liberalism. As liberals value independence and are not likely to fight each other, Ukraine has wanted to join NATO to be a part of a union that protects and supports its members. While some realists criticize liberal ideas for causing the Ukraine crisis, liberalism seems to be one of the aspects that support Ukraine's fight for its autonomy. Liberalism implies that free citizens equip large armies to guard their homeland, and the people of Ukraine show that an open society and freedom are worth the fight. While Ukraine's politics did not intend to begin a war, the citizens are defending their sovereignty as liberals. Conclusion. To summarize, realism and liberalism theories represent the causes of the crisis between Russia and Ukraine. From the perspective of realism, Putin decided to invade Ukraine to secure Russia's borders from NATO but did not adequately consider possible risks and benefits. Moreover, while the assumptions of realism regarding human nature and the necessity to survive seem logical, they also imply a lack of consistency between theorists' explanations for starting conflicts. In contrast, while Ukraine's liberal pursuit of joining NATO may have provoked the war, the Ukrainian people also protect their country like liberals. Although theorists' works on liberalism have some distinctions, they view liberalism as uniting and valuing freedom and individuality. Overall, the two theories suggest that a political crisis can have varying perspectives, causes, and consequences.